This is every Notion database property explained, because properties are the backbone of Notion databases, and most beginners get overwhelmed by databases and end up sticking to normal to-do lists or simple tables. But Notion becomes a true productivity system when you fully utilize databases. Don't get left behind using Notion's basic features whilst the rest of us are using relations and formulas. So let's go through all 22 Notion properties. Subscribe for Notion tutorials. Let's dive in. So to access properties, you'll need to create a database. You will not get properties with normal to-do lists such as this. This here is simply a checkbox, or even if you were to write any text. If you highlight anything here, you can access these different Notion tools. But to get access to Notion properties, you need a database. Now, there are very many different types of database views, and all of these will have access to the properties. I posted a video 2 days ago that goes through the different types of database views, and I'll put a link in the description to that. What I'll do is click here on Table View and use this for today's tutorial. And I'll click here on New Empty Data Source. Here you can see Add Property. So the way databases work in Notion is that we have rows. So if I write task 1 here, this here is a row, task 2. This here is a row, and rows in databases are actually pages. So I can open this up and I could write text in here, blah, 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 and do anything else. So I could write database and create a database in this specific page here. So Notion's structure is quite different to what you're used to. We don't have folders with pages in it. Here we have pages with pages in it. So this task 1 here is a page. And if we click here on Add Property, we can add a column. So columns are the same things as properties. So if I were to click here on text, as you can see, this column here gets created. So now that we understand where to find properties, let's go through all of these different properties in Notion. So the first one we selected here was text, and this simply allows me to write any text here. Now, as I showed you before with task 1 here, this text that I'm writing here isn't on the page, it is in the column. So as you can see, it says add property here. These columns that we create here will show up underneath here. So this text here is part of the column, not part of the page. And this here is normal text. So I can't click on this and open up the page. That is the job of this column here, the name. We can only open up the page on this name property here. So let's click on plus to add another property. The next one here is a number. Now, number properties are really, really useful. I typically use it for time tracking, so I can track how long my tasks take. Now, obviously, this is just an example, as clearly right now I'm creating a task database. So on this time tracking property, what I can do is right click and do calculate. And on here, I can access more options and do sum, average, medium, min, max, and range. And this can become incredibly powerful. So if I do sum, for example, I can see all of these numbers here added up. So it doesn't just have to be sum. Like I said, you have all of these different options here. You can also work out percentages and counting. So that is the number property. The next one here we have is select. And the select property is really, really useful. And it's one of the most common properties that you see people use. So let's just do an easy task and a hard task here as an example. So what I'm doing here is creating a drop down. And these drop downs here are probably similar to a surveying system or something like that. So you can select here from the drop down, or you can create another option simply by typing. So I have easy task, hard task, and 2-minute task as this select property. So let's call this the type of task as an example. And these here are different colors, as you can see. And what you can do is hover over it and click on these 3 dots here to change that color. So easy task, let's say that is yellow. Let's say hard task is red, for example, and then 2-minute task, let's have that as this light gray here. And having a select property can be really useful for your planning. In my Notion template headquarters, I use this property so we can label how much cognitive demand is involved in the task. This helps me with planning out my week, so I don't have too many flow tasks in a single day. By the way, if you're interested in my all-in-one productivity template, then there's a link in the description. Notion templates allow you to download an entire system, so you don't have to build from scratch like I'm doing with this database here. Instead, you can get my entire system that I use for productivity. Again, there's a link in the description if you're interested. So let's click here on plus and add the next property. So we have select, which is this one here. There's also a multi-select. And this works very similar, but instead of selecting one of these options, we can select 2 of them. So I'll just do this as an example. I can select 1 and 2. All right, let's click on plus to see the next one. The next one here is status. So with this status, we have not started, in progress, and done. Personally, I don't find this useful because the select and multi-select do the same thing, but they're not as limited as this status property is. But still, this status property can be useful for beginners. So let's click on plus to see the next one. We have the date property. Now, this date property is one of the most useful types. So what I could do here is click and select the day. So I've selected the day here. What I can also do here is add end date, which allow me to have things go for multiple days. So I could say the 25th to the 28th as an example. So now you can see all of this here is selected. Another thing I can do is include time. So I could say the 25th at 1 p.m. Now the date property can be very useful when we're viewing our database, so our task database here, instead of a table view as a calendar view. So if I click here on calendar, you can see task 1 sitting here, task 2, and this new page sitting here. And you can see how task 2 is taking up these multiple days. So by using the date property, we can see our tasks as a calendar. And this is really useful because our task list is the same thing as a calendar, but those tasks just have a date associated with them. Now these are the main easier ones to understand. Before we jump onto the next ones, I want to explain property viewing. So as you saw with that date example here, we can view this task list here in multiple different layouts. So we could view it as a board, timeline, etc. Another thing we can do is hide these different properties. So if I don't want to see the status property here, what I could do is right click and hide it. Now that won't be deleted. It is simply hidden. So if I click here on task 1, I can actually still see that status property sitting here. And what I'm doing here when I hide a property is I'm hiding it in this database view. So what I'll do here is click on plus to add a new view. Again, I have a full tutorial that dives deep into all of these different database views. But what I could do here in this other view is see this as a calendar like I showed before. So we have the table view and the calendar view. And again, it's the same information. So before we hid properties in this view, so in this table view here, so what I'm doing is hiding the status and hiding this multi-select. What I could do in this calendar view is actually say I want to see other properties. So I could click here on property visibility and say that I want to see the type as an example. So now before even clicking on that task, I can see the different types. And with these different layouts and these different property visibilities, this will allow me to build complex systems. Now there's other powerful features such as filters, sorting, and groups, which are key ingredients in building complex systems, and I have separate videos diving into those coming soon. Now that we understand property visibilities, let's look at some more of these properties. So the next one here is the person property. What we could do here is click and select a person that's in our workspace. Now this is probably not useful if you're using Notion for your personal productivity, but if you're working with a team, then this property can be useful. The next one here is files and media. If I click here, I can actually upload a file. Now to upload files that are larger than 5 megabytes, you do need a paid Notion account. If you're watching this, I presume you're new to Notion, and because I commonly get emails about this, yes, you can use everything my headquarters template has to offer without a paid Notion account. The next property here is checkbox. Now the checkbox property is really useful for one main thing, checking in stuff. That makes sense, right? So I can tick in these tasks like that. This here can be quite useful. Another thing you can do is calculate with these and say the percentage that is checked in. So here I can see 66% of these tasks here have been checked in. So let's click here on plus and look at the next ones. We have URLs, phone, and email. I won't go through these individually as they're all quite obvious. You can add a URL, you can add someone's phone number, you can add someone's email. Now let's dive into the next bit, which is the time-based properties. So I'll go through these here before we go through these, as these here are quite obvious as well. We have a created time, a last edited time, created by, and last edited by. These here can be automatically triggered. So with created time here, as you can see, these times here got added automatically when I created a task. So if I click here to create a task, this gets automatically created. And this here is different to the date property, because the date property we can fill out and choose any time. So I could click here and choose any time in the future, whereas the created time here is automatically generated when that row is created. And the same idea goes for these here. So created by will be automatically generated. Again, that's probably only useful if you're in a team. Now that you understand these automatic ones, let's dive into these 6 more advanced Notion properties. So we have the relation, rollup, formula, button, ID, and place. So let's look at the relation property. The relation property relates to and talks to another database. So right now in here, we only have this one database. So let's create another one. What I'll do here is / and write data, and I'll create another database. And let's make this here a new database called project. And as all of these here are getting a bit cluttered, what I'll do is just hide a few. So what I'll do is click here on plus and click on relation, and I'll select this database that we created. So I'll click here on project. And what I'll do here is select two-way relation to show you the rollup feature as well. And here I'll click on add relation. So let's add project A and project B to this database here. And then I'll add some other tasks here, task 3 and task 4. If I click on a cell here in this property, what it will do is bring up the different pages in this database. So these two here are now related, hence the name relation. So I could click here on project A, and then this one here could be project B, and I'll drag this down so these others are also related to project B. And as you can see, because this is a two-way relation, these tasks are appearing here. And if I open this up, project B, I can see them listed here as well. So a relation is basically saying I want one database to talk to another. And this is one of the most powerful properties in Notion. As an example, in my headquarters template, when you open up a project page, it shows you all of the relevant tasks, all of the relevant notes and bottlenecks. And the same thing happens on life bucket pages. And that setting is done by using the relation property. Now that we understand the relation, let's talk about the rollup property. So in this projects database here, what I'm going to do is add the rollup property here. So I'll click here on rollup, and what I'll do is add settings to this column. So I'll say I want to see the tasks here, and I want to know about the checkbox. And what I can do is calculate the checkbox for me. So I'll say show me the percentage that is checked in. So now I could see 100% of the tasks relating to project A are complete, and 33% of the tasks relating to project B are ticked in. So if I scroll up now and look at this project B and tick that in, automatically this now turns to 66%. So rollups can be useful, but personally I prefer using page templates and using filters to do that instead. I think that's a more useful user interface than seeing a list here and a percentage like this. But still, that is how rollups work. Then this here is a button. Now with buttons, what you can do is create automations and rules. So I could say an automation here, when this button is clicked, then let's just do an easy one as an example. I edit the property of the checkbox and say that it becomes checked in. This is a very basic automation that's probably pointless because I can just tick it in here, but it shows you how this works. So now if I click here on done, as you can see, this here got checked in. Now these buttons here are different to Notion buttons, which you can get by doing /button. They work quite similar, but these buttons here are built into the database, whereas these here are free roaming buttons that you can drag around and connect them to any database that you want by clicking on Add Page To and then selecting any single one of your databases. So that's how the button works. Then we have the ID. Now personally, I don't use this property, but it can be useful if you have maybe multiple products, as what you can do is edit this property and add a prefix. So let's just say task and then dash, and I can add this prefix here. So automatically I get task --1, task --2. Again, this is probably more useful for instead of task databases, if you have product SKU databases, as an example. This next property here is the place property. Now this is a reasonably new property and it's quite powerful. What I could do is type out a location. So I'll say Sydney Harbour Bridge, select that here. And this doesn't just allow me to type out this place. What I can do now is click on the plus here and view this on a map. So here I can see Sydney Harbour on an interactive map. Now this can be incredibly useful if you're planning trips, client CRMs, or something like storing your favorite cafes. And this will only work on an interactive map if you use this place property. If you were to simply type out that address in this text property, then they will not appear on this interactive map. And again, these here are pages, so I can click here and open up this page. So that is how the place property works. Now we have one last property, which is the formula property. And this here is incredibly powerful, as you could write miniature code for your property here. So let's just write an incredibly simple formula as an example. If, brackets, and I'm going to say if the date property is empty, so I'll scroll down here and select date. If the date property is empty, then what I wanted to do is to write need to schedule. If not, don't do anything, close bracket. So this is a pretty simple and, to be honest, pretty useless formula, but as an example, if this date property here is empty, so this task 4 here, for example, then I want it to tell me that I need to schedule this task. And then I'll click here on done. So this one here comes up with need to schedule. So I know, hey, this task 4 here is something that I need to schedule. And if I add a date to it, let's say today, as you can see, that need to schedule here got removed. And that is every single property in Notion. Now, if you want to save time and not build a dashboard from scratch, then you can download Headquarters, my premium Notion template, in a few clicks. There's a link in the description to the template, or you can click on this video here to see the entire tour.